So what I'd like to do is jump straight in and take a look at the Global Nutrition Medicine Strategy 2025 to 2034. As you may have already heard in this event, it's composed of 4 main strategic objectives. And what's really important is that the strategy should be read in such a way that these strategic objectives are not isolated from one another, but the achievement of one strategic objective automatically contributes to the next and to the others. So if you look at strategic objective 1, which is to strengthen the evidence base for TCIM, that automatically supports the provision of safe and effective TCIM through appropriate regulatory mechanisms. Yes, there's the provision of safe and effective TCIM, but there's also the next step about the appropriate regulatory mechanisms being in place and the provision of those services through appropriate regulatory mechanisms allow for integration of safe and effective TCIM into health systems.
Traditional medicine are part of medicine. If you go to the definition of medicine, they all come in together. For a long time, we have been regulating conventional medicine alone, but we've forgotten to also now we are enhancing, but it's just that we are now, I think the world is advancing, and we have seen the importance of having traditional medicine into the treatment, and therefore that is the reason why we have to include.
Good morning. I think that regulation of medicine traditional is very important. In our country, since 2021, there is ABREMA, Burundian Authority for the Regulation of Medicine of Human Use, Medicine Use and Food, which must homologate any product hits to the market. It's very important because they must prove evidence for no toxicity and medicine, traditional medicine products must be homologated for availability, accessibility, and safety for passage. And we have our strategic plan that goes 2024 to 2028. The strategic objective number 2 show the implementation of product, traditional medicine products. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So Dr. Ali mentioned that medicine is a medicine, whether it is biomedicine or traditional medicine, so regulation is a must. And Dr. Amy says that since safety and efficacy are concerns, so they need to be ensured before we market a product. So that is why traditional medicine products deserve regulation. Over to you, Dr. Moses.
Yeah, good morning, and thank you, Dr. Kumar, for this really very interesting topic regarding regulation of medicine, medical supplies, and as well very specific for traditional medicines. Related to your questions, as you know, the access and availability of safe, effective, and quality assured medicine and medical supplies, as well traditional medicine, is very crucial to save life, and that requires regulations. And not only regulations, we require appropriate mechanism or regulatory mechanism to be in place, and that has also been supported by policies, frameworks, and guidelines. And in the center, we have also to put in your mind the end user, the patient, the beneficiary for either medicines or traditional medicine. Key also aspect in the human resource. for example, in South Sudan, the South Sudan Drug and Chemical Authority is the competent regulatory authority to regulate medicine and medical supplies as well as traditional medicines. But again, also, there's issues of capacity, as I mentioned. So to put it short and simple, there's a need and high need for regulating medicine and medical supplies and also traditional medicines.
Thank you, Dr. Moses. Over to you, Dr. Dave. What is your opinion? Why do we need to regulate the traditional medicine products, or do we really need to regulate?
Thank you very much. Just a correction. I'm standing in for Dr. Davis.
Okay.
I'm a fan of Piao. I'm a professor of reproductive medicine at Cambridge University of Health Sciences, and I've got a special interest in herbal medicine research. Just to concur with my colleagues, there is a huge need for regulating TCIM products so that they are standardized. We need products that, the safety is known. We need products that the efficacy is known. We need products that have got dosages that are in place. Shelf life is there. As you look, currently most practitioners, they don't do these things. So this is the right time that they are properly, educated, capacity is built so that they are able to produce products that are of high quality.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So now I think all the panelists agree, and we have seen some consensus in the House that it is indeed important to regulate the traditional medicine products, probably because a drug is a drug, whatever is the system of medicine. Probably because we need to be sure about the safety, efficacy, and quality of the drug. Probably because this will ensure the access to the traditional medicine products, and probably because standardization and other regulatory parameters are very important to label as a drug and to reach it to the consumers. Moreover, probably what I think is that, since ages, this has been confined to the local domains where this practice is done. The products are available in that area only. But this is an area of globalization. This is an age of globalization when the products are crossing the borders. So when the products are crossing the borders, we need to pack them in bottles and make the packages in the form of capsules, tablets. You need to add some excipients, you need to add colors, preservatives, and all those things which go into the marketing strategies. Well, they require some standardization, they require some validation, they require some quality control. So you as a practitioner, whatever you want to send it to your patient, to your customer, whether the precise product reaches to the end user or not, this can be ensured only by the virtue of regulation. Regulation only can ensure that there is a batch to batch standardization, there is a batch to batch consistency, and the precise product which a physician wants, that only reaches to the consumer. So hence regulation is important. Moreover, we should all understand that regulation is something which is going to do hand holding of the practitioners or the healers or the manufacturers. It should not be looked at something which is restrictive. Regulation is going to prevent biopiracy. Otherwise, also your product would be used by the consumers, your product would be marketed someday without your knowledge. If you enter into regulation, if you register your product, at least it will be acknowledged to you. The access and benefit sharing related aspects of the WIPO treaty, GRATK treaty, which has been finalized just last year after nearly 22 years of consensus, global consensus. So all these are facilitatory mechanisms by virtue of regulation. So regulation should never be looked at as an enemy or as something which is going to be a prohibitive thing. Rather, it is a promotive thing. It is something which is going to help in proliferation and promotion of your products. So thank you, panelists, for convincing the House that regulation is indeed important. Now, again, a 2-minute timer for all of you. How are traditional medicine products regulated in your country presently?
Yeah, so I represented the Pharmacy and Poison Board, which is the National Medicine Regulatory Authority. We have instruments that, first of all, the law mandates us to register these products. Secondly, we have put up instruments in place. Apart from the law, we have the guideline that is there. We have also created an application form that people can submit, a portal where someone can apply for the registration of the product. And with this, we are also required to look for the quality of the product, visit where these products are being manufactured, so which is good manufacturing practice. That is either you. Secondly, the application, the dossier has to be submitted, which is very comprehensive, containing all the information that is required. So in this case, for us in Kenya here, all that system has been put in place, and we have started registration in around 2020, 2019, as we've been registering products. We have several products already registered as we told yesterday.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Amy. Dr. Amy, over to you. How traditional medicine products are regulated in your country these days?
As I said, in Burundi, the regulation for products is doing by APREMA. Before any product hits the market, APREMA requires marketing authorization after verifying the evidence of no toxicity provided by the manufacturers, including preclinical and clinical studies reports, certificates of analysis from country of origin of the product, compares with the international standards. That take about 9 to 18 months to homologate the product. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Over to you, Dr. Moses. How the products are regulated in your place?
Yes. In South Sudan, the South Sudan Drug and Food Control Authority is the national regulatory authority in South Sudan. And the act of that authority mandated the GFCA to regulate medicine and medical supplies, herbal medicines, cosmetic, and more. But the current practice in South Sudan, as far as traditional medicine is concerned, we have just started the notification of product. The registration is not yet started, but we notify the products because what we do, we don't have a local manufacturer for the traditional medicine. 100% of all medicine in South Sudan, including TCIM, are imported. And as a result, during the notification, we consider the line of harmonization in the EAC. And is the key, something that also we have to consider in this forum. The harmonizations in the data authority, the EAC partner states. So for instance, if the product registered Kenya, and I don't have that capacity, if you were to register product X, under that harmonization, I will consider initially all the process that was conducted in Kenya that are really following the regulated system based on harmonization. So I will start notifying the product immediately. I'm talking about the herbal medicine or traditional medicine. So the practice now currently in South Sudan is notification of traditional medicines. Then will be followed by registration, provided also to have capacity in that area. You want to build the capacity of DFCA for registration of traditional medicine. The current staff are trained in area of conventional or modern medicines. But for traditional medicine, even now we are going to have new guidelines, we are going to have frameworks, we are going to have standard and norms, we are going to have all these SOPs for the TCIM. We need to build the capacity of personnel at that level of the DFCA.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Moses. Over to you regarding Malawi. What is the current status of regulation of traditional medicine products?
So for Malawi, currently we lack comprehensive regulatory framework. We do have the Pharmacy and Medicines Regulatory Authority, but it does not regulate TCIM products currently. We do have a policy which is there, but it's on paper. We are yet to develop, mechanisms including monitoring, enforcement systems. They're still very weak. Currently, if you are a practitioner and you have a product, uh, really the product doesn't go through, the quality checks, safety, and efficacy data that this is fit to go. So everyone is just doing their own things. So we are way behind. We need to, to have this in place. And we are at the right stage now because we, just 2 weeks ago, with the Ministry of Health, we've come to an agreement that we already have these regulatory authorities, the Medical Council and the PMRA. Why can't we, give them this opportunity? They should start as a starting point to regulate the TCIM products. So that's where we are currently. We are still in the process.
Thank you so much. So it is again, we didn't select the speakers like this, but it's a wonderful combination that we have speakers from those member states where the regulatory system is quite evolved. We have speaker from member state where it is evolving, and we have speaker from where the regulation is yet to kick off actually. So it's wonderful to have the entire spectrum available, and this is perhaps the real-time situation where some member states have established regulatory systems, some are in the process, and some are yet to take off. So over to you, panelists. This is the last question, and we need to wind up in next 7-8 minutes. So that I want to give chance to the audience for some interaction with you before we say you goodbye. So we have just heard to Dr. Neil Gower in his presentation, and we all know about the new strategy which emphasizes on risk-based regulation of traditional medicine products. So I know, although Dr. Neil explained this in the presentation, but as a regulator, as a representative of your country from the regulatory perspective, what do you think is the meaning of this risk-based approach of regulation in your scenario, in your context? Over to you, Dr. Ali.
So one thing, we don't have all the capacities as a regulator. For example, testing of lab for testing, where we don't have our own lab, national quality control, because the herbal medicines, some of them have a lot of combination. They have not done so much. So what happens is that we use tests that have already been done. We also rely on clinical trials that have been conducted elsewhere. So if you submit a study and evidence elsewhere that your product has been tested and clinically tried in South Africa or in other country, in India, and you submit the documents, this is the kind of information we use to register the products. So it's the risk-based approach. We, however, do some post-market surveillance tests to see, we carry some tests. For example, some of the products we tested earlier, we found some adulteration of products. So once in a while, we do that. Secondly, we also regulate advertisements. We don't want somebody to claim a lot of things in their products. If you want to claim anything with your product and you want to take it to the market, you pass through the regulator. The regulator will tell you, will confirm what you are claiming, and then will advise you so that you don't have to go and claim things that are not there. This is what we call the risk.
Thank you so much. It's quite informative that we rely on post-marketing surveillance and we control the misleading and advertisements to take care of tall and misleading claims for the traditional medicine products. Over to you, Dr. Amy. What do you think? How you would like to apply this approach of risk-based regulation in your country?
Thank you. Our context in my country is that we have a strategic plan, and I think it's a good one. But the problem is in the finance. This plan is today is behind of schedule. The main problem in the regulation for medicine, traditional medicine products is the test of no toxicity. And we have no specialized laboratory. And I think that we have to have this laboratory because it's in our strategic plan. I think that with the laboratory, we will be able to test and have a good product for patients' safety.
Thank you so much. Over to you, Dr. Moses.
Yes.
How do you see risk-based approach for South Sudan?
Thank you. As I mentioned that the DFCA, they are just starting notification of products, but also there is a requirement for notification. And one of these requirements is the documentation. Issue of testing, as we don't have that for, even not only for traditional medicine, even for conventional and modern medicines. So we always use the region for testing products. So testing is key for us. And also submission of required documents. For example, we ask GMP, we ask the number for products analysis, and etc. So the concept now in South Sudan is to come up with a framework, with guidelines in place to regulate the administration of traditional medicine, considering all the aspects of quality.
Thank you so much. And Malawi is evolving or about to take off regarding the regulation of TM products. So, what do you think? How you would like to adopt and adapt to this risk-based approach of regulation in your system?
Thank you very much. I think the first thing is to have specialized laboratories that are able to, perform these tests to find out that these products are not toxic, because we need to protect the consumers. Currently, what is happening, not on a larger scale, but on a small scale, but I think it's the right step in the right direction, is that some practitioners take their products through the Malawi Bureau of Standards. They don't take them there as medicines, but as food supplements. So the Bureau of Standards does test these products to find out whether they are edible, because they are food supplements, and they will put a seal to say, okay, this is edible, and this is the first step. But as a nation, we are thinking seriously of having a special lab that is responsible for testing all these traditional medicine products, so that when they go on the market, they are certified that they are harmless.
Thank you so much. So we have understood from the four distinguished panelists that what is their approach for risk-based regulation of TM products. From my learning, I would like to share some more thoughts on this for the benefit of the audience. Risk-based approach, as we included this in the new strategy, was aimed at establishing an ecosystem where the regulator is not asking a same battery of documents to every claim. For example, if a practitioner or if a manufacturer submits an application for marketing authorization of a single herb, the formulation contains only one herb it is meant to treat some very common indication, for example common cold or something really which is not very dangerous, and it is meant to be consumed orally, it is meant to be consumed only for a few number of days. So then this is a low risk category of product. There is another category, suppose there is a combination of 10, 20, 30 herbs, and it is meant to be suppose given as a sterile product for an eye ointment or an eye drop, or suppose it is meant to address something which is likely to cause some complications, for example some infectious diseases or non-communic sorry these lifestyle disorders like diabetes, obesity, arthritis, asthma, so which can lead to some problems, then the regulator may ask for some more regulatory documents in terms of the safety testing, in terms of the toxicity testing, in terms of standardization, in terms of quality control, quality assurance, and all those documents. But if a product is containing, say, some potentially toxic herbs, suppose the product is containing some herbs along with some minerals or metals and other toxic ingredients which are likely to cause some problem upon their prolonged intake, and suppose the product is claiming something which is not very simple, for example a treatment for any cancers or any HIV infections or such claims, well in those conditions the regulator has the right to ask for more stringent regulatory documents, like for example or for example a product is to be taken for a long term, so then you need to study the mutagenicity, the teratogenicity, the genotoxicity, the reproductive toxicity, and the chronic toxicity studies ranging from 6 months to 9 months, and all those battery of regulatory requirements which are utilized for biomedical products. So this is probably the meaning of risk-based approach which we thought while conceiving the strategy. So thank you, distinguished experts, and the floor is now open. We have 300 seconds. If there is some burning issue you want to address to any of the experts, please raise your hands and tell me your question is related to which expert. Over to you, Dr. Shruti. You can raise your volume and ask.
Yeah, yeah, I will. So, thank you for the panelists. My question is to the PPP for Kenya. Like as you mentioned that if the products are registered in specific countries, like say India or any other, if the products are registered in India and any other countries where it is officially licensed to practice, will the products still need to be registered here because the medicines are being taken, consumed by the patients, and they are treated as Dr. Dua mentioned, those are low risk diseases which will not need more, what do we say, like information regarding what side effects it will have. So will that type of medicines which fall under complementary medicine will still need a registration or something as per your expertise which we need to take care of?
Yeah, please.
Thank you for the question. Yeah, registration is mandatory, and it's because of the law, Cap 244, which is the Kenyan law that establishes the organization that I work for, Pharmacy Inclusion Board, requires that any product which is placed in the Kenyan market must be registered. So registration is mandatory, whether it's registered in another country or not. We have documentation that we have to submit to us, and then we'll consider some of the documents that we submit from the other country. We recognize that. We don't repeat everything that is done elsewhere, but we will have to do the registration. It's mandatory.
Thank you, Dr. Ali. And if there is a supplementary question, kindly take it up after the session. Over to you. No, please take it up after the session. Your question is for whom?
Yeah, I'm called Grace. I'm now asking as a regulator because I've been part of regulation in Uganda for 15 years. My question goes to Malawi, where it says they could engage the food regulator for those making herbals, where they claim their supplements. That has a challenge because supplements, according to dosage, can be medicine. And those food regulators have no capacity to get into the detail of differentiating between a medicine. So you may find the herbalists abusing that quite a lot. So in Uganda, it's been a big, big battle.
You have the mic. Kindly answer in the shortest possible time.
Yeah, I think you are straight on the point that we are using this just as because we don't have the mechanism to regulate. That's why we are using this. But the actual right place was the PMRI to be testing these medicines. The other point is that these practitioners, they are running away from calling their products medicines because they will have to go to the PMRI, which will have to, to perform the test. While when they take them to the Bureau of Standards as food supplements, the standards just look at whether they are edible or not.
Yeah, thank you. Next question, please.
How are you, everyone? My name is Dr. Lydia Matoke. I'm a practitioner. My question, I think, cuts across many of the traditional healers. My name is Dr. Lydia Matoke. I'm a practitioner and a leader. My question is on, this is general. It cuts across all the African countries, but more so in Kenya. The Farmers and Poisons Board, we have tried as traditional healers our best. Without regulations, we have been fighting with bills going to Parliament. They never see the door of Parliament. Even as yesterday, our minister said that there is a document in Parliament, but it was talking about the care of the patient. It's not more on the practice and the practitioner. Let me go back to my question.
Yeah.
At what point does a traditional healer in Kenya goes to register a product as a food supplement? For example, during Corona and after Corona, so many products were collected from traditional healers. We really don't know whether they went through clinical research or Kenya doesn't have the money to do clinical research to prove that this medicine worked or the medicine works. So when somebody is using, for example, the main ingredient is Wabuya ugadensis, and the person is told to go and register the medicine as a food supplement, I remain with questions. What is in Wabuya ugadensis that is a food? I ask myself questions because I have a PhD in laboratory and phytotherapy. So when I'm told to register Wabuya ugadensis as a food, I remain with questions. So as we move on, we are moving on. TCIM, what is Kenya about to do? Or what is Kenya going to do? Number 2 question, what is this that we are told about British standards? A few of my traditional healers, it's not a claim, but it's a true saying that this product is not meeting the British standards. What are these British standards at the regulatory body of Farmers and Poisons Board Kenya?
Yeah, so first thing, a product is will require registration because there is a certain claim to the product. If you have claimed that this product is going to either treat or it's used for diagnosis or for certain reasons, then it's required that you register it. If it's just a food, we don't register food. If it's a food that you have something that will enhance, we may not ask you to register. But if you have claimed that this thing is going to either enhance or do something, modify the physiological body, and treat, then registration becomes requirements. And for the standard, herbal is not very developed. We don't have a lot of pharmacopoeias. We all know what pharmacopoeia is. There are very few pharmacopoeias that exist that guide us on how these products are to be handled. So where we are guided, we tend to go for that kind of pharmacopoeia or that standard because that is the standard that exists. We will not ask you to look for any other or for other reasons.
Thank you. I know there might be supplementary questions, but probably that can be taken on one-to-one basis after the session. Over to you. But my request is that, yeah, wherever is the mic. So my request is that kindly keep your question very pinpointed, and so that we have enough time to deal with it. Yes.
I'm not going to ask a question, but I want to make a comment because I participated in elaborating the strategy 2025, 2034. I participated as a healer and as a expert committee of WHO. The issue of product that we healers are facing is this. When you want to study the product of a healer, the one who is going to study the product comes from European or Occidental study background. And that man who the team who want to do the work sometimes even don't believe on rationalism. Since they don't believe and they are not educated to use it, the first idea is that it's not good. They have it in mind that the product is not good for use. Since they have it in mind, they will use a European standard to evaluate the product. That's the first basic problem we are facing as healers. Secondly, healer is not don't have the capacity to elaborate the document to make application. Before you register a product, there are many documents required before you make the application. How many healers, since we are illiterate, accept that we are illiterate, we are not in a possibility to bring those all documents you are asking us together.
There are 2 questions online. If you want to take some
In
notes, it's up to
countries,
you.
there's no committee in ministries of research, Ministry of Health, to help healers to bring those documents together for big application. You don't have those things. And also, we don't have finance possibilities to go through the process. And most of the time, those who are going to register transmission products, the committee who is going to register is the committee who register pharmaceutical products. And pharmaceutical industries have influence on our governing bodies so that our products should not go ahead. Because when our products go ahead, it hits their market. It's also a truth. So I think, Professor Kumar, since you are in the global center, you have to do something on all the 16 continents so that the way of studying the traditional medicine should change.
Thank you, Dr.
The standard you use should not be the former standard you're using. We want that to change so that we can use our African products as we use it all the time.
Thank you so much. And I think you have asked on behalf of many of the healers present here. Let me take you to the journey back to the strategy. You have been a part of WHO groups. You should appreciate the definition of traditional medicine. The traditional medicine definition came in 1976, and that too from a committee which was chaired by an African. And that committee gave the definition of traditional medicine, which has been guiding the whole world for 15 years. Now, while writing the new strategy with the involvement of experts like you and others from across the globe, WHO has come out with a modified definition of traditional medicine. And if you remember the slides, the very first line of the definition says traditional medicine refers to codified and non-codified systems. So the word non-codified included in the definition of traditional medicine is a great attribute to the traditional healers only. Otherwise, what else non-codified means? So codified was always existing, inclusion of non-codified, mention of indigenous practices, mention of traditional knowledge, mention of traditional healers in the new strategy is definitely opening the vistas to take care of these issues. So it is not that we are oblivious of this. The whole world knows the potential of traditional healers and the traditional knowledge. The only thing is that we are into these forums to discuss what is the best way forward. So don't confuse regulation with all those documentation and investment of finance and 10, 12, 15 years of clinical and preclinical safety toxicity studies. Regulation does not mean that in every case. That is why the strategy mentions risk-based approach of traditional medicine products regulation. So regulation means registration also. Simply go and register that this is my practice, this is my product. That's all. Who is asking for documentation? So there are different tiers of regulation. There are different requirements or different steps. So that is what we are discussing with the regulators, that what should be the right approach for different types of products. This is one category of products which I have mentioned. But there are other categories of products also for which higher regulation is required. So this is what is called tier-based regulation. This is what is called risk-based approach. And this is what we are open for discussion. And that is why this forum. So I respectfully acknowledge the potential and importance of traditional knowledge and traditional healers. But at the same time, registration should not be confused as a restrictive mechanism of regulation. This is my appeal to the House. Thank you so much. I know there were other hands, but I think we would like to interact off the dais. I know there are a couple of questions from online participants also. I would request the IT team to park them to the end of the session. After nearly 30 minutes, we will take up those questions also. Thank you so much. Give a big round of applause to our panelists. Thank you so much. You can take your seats. And I will request the team to arrange the dais so that we can invite the next speaker. We have with us Dr. Sekakia, and he has wonderfully moderated the previous session. So, Dr. Sekakia, we would like to hear from you regarding this topic of regulation of traditional medicine products, especially from the perspective